Hi guys, today I have another review for you, and this is the new foundation at the drugstore from Revlon. It is the Revlon Nearly Naked foundation, and I picked this up at CVS, and I'm going to demo it for you and then talk a little bit more about it and some of the things that I noticed with the wear and some of the pros and cons and that type of thing. So I'll get right into the demo now. So the color that best suits my skin in this foundation is 160 Fresh Beige. When I use this foundation, I normally just pour it out onto the back of my hand, and that seems to work fine. It is a fairly liquid, runny foundation. And this brush is the Expert Face Brush from Real Techniques. So to begin with, I just start by going over all of my face with the brush and the foundation to put a even layer over top of everything. You can see I do have some blemishes that need to be covered up, and you can also see that initially this foundation is pretty sheer. It's evening things out, but it's not erasing those spots. So this is what it looks like after the first layer of foundation. You can still see those blemishes coming through the foundation. So what I typically do is take some more foundation on my finger and just in those spots we'll dab on an extra layer, and it does work pretty well. Here you can see what the end result looks like and the dewy finish that the foundation does have. This foundation, I would say, is light to medium coverage. You would have to build it up a little bit to get medium coverage. And I did use the Real Techniques brush to blend it in, but I've used it just with my fingers a lot, and it works just fine that way as well. A couple of things about it though, just to keep in mind, it is more of a dewy kind of finish. And I will say, whenever I came back from the holidays, we had gone out west to Colorado for the holidays, and the dry climate had not been very kind to my skin, and so I had a lot of dry patches and flakiness that was not very attractive that I wanted to cover up, and this foundation was really good at that because it already has some moisture in it, and it does provide more of a dewy finish, so it's more forgiving and really nice for dry skin. So that was nice, but on a daily basis I'm more combination oily, so when I do wear this, now that I'm back home in a warmer climate, I definitely have to powder it, and it does come with a powder. Revlon has a new powder that came out with it. I didn't get the powder because I'm pretty happy with this powder. This is the NYX Stay Matte Not Flat powder, and I use this over top of the Nearly Naked foundation, and I don't have a problem with it. This is a foundation though that I find at the end of the day I will have a little bit of oiliness breaking through my T-zone that I will need to repowder if I'm gonna go do something in the evening. So definitely not as flawless of a finish as you would get with the Revlon Color Whipped foundation, and not the same overall texture and finish you would get from the Revlon Whipped foundation. So just keep that in mind. Another thing to note is that it has an SPF of 20 in it, so this may not be the best foundation if you're going to be going out somewhere or somewhere you might be photographed. However, if you're going to be outside, it would be nice that it already has some SPF in it to protect your skin. The nice thing about this new display though that I really liked was that it had a little booklet attached to the display that showed different skin tones and different shades. So if you felt like you were a warmer skin tone, you should go with these colors in a various shade range. And then if you were felt like you were cooler skin tone, you would go with the other shades. So that was nice to at least have some sort of a guide. It's really difficult to pick out your correct color at the drugstore because you can't really swatch a lot of them a lot of the time. So I appreciate that they had that booklet at least to I'd rather they had samples available, but in absence of samples, I'll take the booklet. So that was nice, and I know a lot of people would prefer that this had a pump on it. It would definitely make it more convenient, less messy, but I think it can still be plenty hygienic by just pouring it out in your hand like I did, and I don't think you would have to worry about contaminating the whole bottle that way. The only other downside I would say, besides that you might need to powder from time to time, especially if you live in a warm climate, is that I seem to be going through it pretty quickly. It takes, I don't know if you saw how much I poured out on my hand, but it definitely takes about that amount to cover your face, at least for me. And I'm not even trying to get like fullish cover with it, and I just will go back and dot on spots. So I feel like I'm going to run through this pretty quickly. but it definitely gives a more natural finish to your skin. And if you're just looking for, if you have pretty nice skin and you're just looking for a general wash of color to kind of even things out and get everything on the same basic kind of color playing field, then this would be really good. A lot of days I use this kind of in the same way would a tinted moisturizer. You can definitely build up more coverage with this than you could with a tinted moisturizer, but I use it in that regard, that I just want, you know, a little bit of coverage, a little bit of evening out. A lot of times I won't go back and cover up the little extra blemishes that show through. It is what it is, and I'm running around doing errands and I don't really care that much. And you know, the added SPF is kind of nice. So if you just want something, you have pretty nice skin, you just want something to whip out, blend all over really quickly, not worry too much about getting it perfect, blending it in perfectly, and get out the door and maybe have some SPF, this would be really good for you. Also, I think if you have dry skin, the moisture this brings with it, not the most moisturizing foundation or dewiest foundation, but it does have, it leans more that way. Certainly not a matte foundation. So that, depending on your skin type, could be make or break. I think overall a pretty good, another pretty good foundation from Revlon. I think definitely this one and the Revlon Whipped are my favorite. The Revlon Whipped I would use more for events where I'm going to be photographed and I really want a flawless finish, and this one more for everyday, just kind of running around, not caring if my skin looks 100% perfect. So they're very different, and I think you would use them for different purposes, but both are very good, I think. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review and you found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate it if you would like this video and maybe subscribe or comment or anything like that. I would really appreciate it. So until next time, see ya!